wrong coach, wrong time, and it led to a lot of losing. But in some ways, that losing, not in some ways, in some direct ways, that losing led to your ability to stack talent. So it was not good basketball. People had tuned out that team. But if it's the basis and the foundation of what may be to come, who's to say Stephen Silas isn't our Lovey Smith? So Jabari Smith sat down. He sat down for a podcast with KCP on It's the Dog Talk podcast, and they talked about quite a bit. You get a NBA player to sit down with you, you're going to talk about several topics. But the thing that keeps popping up online is how that Rocket team was run when Stephen Silas was around. And I'm one of the people who is like, do we always have to bury Stephen Silas? He was put in a tough spot. He came in to coach Russell Westbrook and Harden. And then before he could even get really situated, Harden was like, actually, I don't want to be here anymore. Let's get me out of here because we can't win. And then he was stuck coaching a team that wasn't talented and then became a team that leaned into youth, and it wasn't the spot for him. And I haven't heard players bash him at all. It's been a lot of, well, Ime's just different. We do things differently, and it's worked out for us. So here's Jabari Smith talking to KCP and Jordan Magruder of the Dog Talk podcast about how Stephen Silas knew basketball. He was just in a bad spot.
Yeah, Silas was our first coach. He was a good coach, but like I said, man, couldn't nobody control that. It was just a wreck. You know what I'm saying? It was like, and if anybody know Coach Silas, like he's the nicest dude in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like he know basketball. He know what he's talking about. Yeah. It's just like as far as controlling that, it's just like it was tough for him. But Ime came in and Ime, Fred, and Dylan came in and put some control on it.
So the Ime, Fred, and Dylan thing is important because later on he talked about how, yes, Eric Gordon was one of the vets during his early years with the Rockets. In fact, Jabari's going into year 4, so Eric Gordon was there for year 1 with him. But that wasn't enough. He said they didn't have enough veterans. There was a lack of understanding of how the NBA game was, and when it's just a bunch of young guys trying to figure things out, you're going to have what you had under Stephen Silas, where Stephen Silas, hey, I just want to coach. I don't know if he was ready to kind of reel in everything that was going on. There's just a lot of young dudes trying to find their way. Wrong coach, wrong time, and it led to a lot of losing. But in some ways, that losing, not in some ways, in some direct ways, that losing led to your ability to stack talent. So it was not good basketball. People had tuned out that team. But if it's the basis and the foundation of what may be to come, who's to say Stephen Silas isn't our Lovey Smith? And the reference there is Lovey Smith wasn't a guy looking to tank, so he tried to win that Colts game, and, of course, led to C.J. Stroud. There was the thing where that Colts defender missed what was pretty much a pop-up for a pick. He missed it, led to a Texans touchdown, and they wound up winning that game. So another sliding doors thing. What if Lovey Smith was more into tanking? What if Stephen Silas maybe was better suited for the position? Maybe you don't get the chance to take the guys you took and build this roster to where it is now. So it all came together.
Yeah. They got like the most like medium lottery luck that you could possibly get, where like they never like fell in the draft or in the draft order. They didn't fall far, but they never got like the number 1 pick.
They never had that moment the day of that night where everyone's like envisioning what it would mean to have the number 1 overall pick. It never came to fruition.
I mean, they had the 2 pick after Cade, and so they got Jalen Green.
Mm-hmm.
They had the 3 pick after Paolo and Chet, and then in 23 they got the 4 pick after Wembanyama. It's like they didn't they didn't get screwed over like the Wizards or the
Jazz
or
did
the
this year.
Pistons. Other than the K draft, the Pistons would always drop as far as they possibly could.
Sure.
They just got like the most like, okay, yeah, all right, and they just kind of assembled pretty good NBA players, but they're all 19 years old, so they needed to be guided along. There's no Victor Wembanyama where it's like your team is just immediately much better now because you have this guy, or LeBron where it's like even as a rookie, this guy just immediately we have some real high level talent that like almost no one could screw up. It's like no, they actually had talent that was good, but it was possible they screwed it up.
And he went on to talk about some differences between Silas and Ime, and he said, "Hey, everyone knows Ime has a screw loose." That was one of his quotes. And yeah, when you call LeBron James a bitch, I don't know if that's I don't know if that means you have a screw loose, but you don't care about the conventional things other people care about in that spot.
Yeah, you're a different type of coach.
Yeah, you're different. Yeah, he's different as you can say. Ime is definitely different and has led to a turnaround where now they're trying to cash in. You talk about their lottery luck and where they landed. Okay, Jalen Green, you take him at 2. I don't think anyone was really pushing back against that. Everyone loves a potential high-scoring guard.
Yeah, there's like a little bit of Mobley,
Sure.
like a little bit, but no one was like, I can't believe they just drafted Jalen Green over Evan Mobley.
Yes.
In the moment, that was not a thing people thought.
That would be the one if you go back and say, could they have had a better player considering where they picked? Yes. Yes, they could have.
Yes.
Amen Thompson at 4. So far, that looks like a clearly the right choice, even though you didn't get the ultimate lottery luck that you wanted. Jabari Smith, we had this conversation yesterday. Maybe I don't remember it correctly, but I thought people were upset that because they thought Jabari leading up until like Woj, the betting odds changed.
Yeah, they did like the Orlando Magic did this weird thing where they like head faked who they're gonna pick. They smoke screened who they were gonna pick with the number 1 pick.
Yes, when you don't have to do that.
Yeah, and so everyone like as we were leading up to the draft, we were talking about the different guy, and we're like, wait, Paolo Banchero's the one that could like actually like lead an offense. He seems like a guy who could get hard buckets that you need. All these things. He's big. He's a wing, and you're like, wait, how is he not gonna go in the top 2? Like, why is this happening? And then turns out he didn't, and you're like, okay, this makes more sense of like how these prospects line up. Of like, you have the guy where you feel really good about, kind of conventional number 1 pick. Then you have like athletic freak, or just I guess physical freak of Chet Holmgren, where it's like this is just a home run swing that the Thunder are making, and it's like the pretty solid big shooter from Auburn who doesn't really dribble, that he goes 3rd. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. What you laid out, I remember and believe it makes sense. I just am trying to figure out if Rocket fans were upset because they thought they may lose out on Jabari because of the head fake the Magic unneedingly were trying to do. I don't remember how that played. I feel like they want a lot of people wanted Jabari because of the shooting.
Yeah, because like anyone who's 6'10" and can shoot immediately, it's like
Kevin
Durant.
Yeah, it was a lot of that. So either way, it worked out. I was trying to think. Amen Thompson, obviously, you take him, no problem with anyone that really went behind him.
It was between Thompson and Whitmore.
Yeah,
actually, at 4, and Whitmore fell all the way to 20.
And they wound up with both. And for now, we'll see where get to that part of this Rockets transactional offseason in a little bit. But Jabari, do we think Keegan Murray's a better player? That's debatable.
Jalen Williams was in that draft.
Certainly, but that's a guy no one...
Yeah.
I can't fault him for not taking Jalen Williams.
He was a reach at, 11 or wherever he went.
12. I can't fault him for not taking Jalen Williams. He wasn't in consideration. So that would be tough on them to say, oh, you missed out.
Was Pods in that draft? They missed out on Pods.
Sure, Jake LaRavia, they missed out on him too. So I guess the only one you could go, I guess Keegan Murray, Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey's coming out. He'll have to come off an injury. But taking Jabari there was a sensible, reasonable choice.
That's the thing. It was all like they made the reasonable choice every time, but they never had the opportunity to get the everyone and their mom would have picked Cade or Wembanyama one. They didn't get the chance to do that.
Yeah, they never did anything that has the entire
and they drafted
entire world shocked by the move.
They drafted decently well with Eason, like their later first-round picks, Eason trading up to get Şengün.
Şengün, yeah, they've done. Look, Rafael Stone's done a very good job building this roster. One guy he may have missed on though in the same draft as Jabari, although it felt like, can't believe Cam Whitmore fell to us. Did he go in the Jabari draft?
He was in the Thompson draft.
Thompson draft. Yeah, we just talked about it. He was in the Thompson draft, and he fell to the Rockets, and everyone's like, look how great our luck is. Now the reporting suggests that Cam Whitmore will be part of the trade that brings Dorian Finney-Smith in.
Yes, there's this giant. Basically, nothing new is happening. I guess other than Cam Whitmore maybe getting traded, but we are kind of knew that was going to happen. But it's just all the moves this offseason that have happened are basically getting folded into a giant sign and trade with the Durant deal.
Yes, so Cam Whitmore is the rare case where a new player that we hadn't heard that was going to be on the move is involved in this, because a lot of it is things have already been agreed to. We're just going to change the structure of these trades to maybe make it more financially beneficial to the player and the team making the trade. So Cam Whitmore would be an add to a potential larger trade, and it would mean the Rockets sending out one of their core 7, at least at the time he was listed as that. So, and that would be the second core 7 member to be sent out, because Jalen Green has already been sent out. So 2 of them sent out in the same
21
trade.
gun salute for the core 7.
No, because this show never believed that thing was real anyway. Partly because of this, when there's always a chance a couple of those guys are going to get sent away for differing reasons. And Cam Whitmore, different from Jalen. Jalen Green was used as the prime piece, along with the 10th pick overall, for Kevin Durant. Cam Whitmore is in a spot where it's not a fit here. Much like Stephen Silas wasn't a fit for the roster he inherited, it turns out Cam Whitmore is not a fit for what the Rockets want to do. It's not an attack on him. Sure, there's been some questions about his attitude. Look, he's 20. He's a young 20-year-old kid, or player at least. I don't know what he's going to be when he's 26. He just didn't fit here. Probably best for all parties for him to find a spot. Not sure he's going to get a lot of playing time with the Lakers. A team who feels like no matter what the drama is around LeBron, they're going to be trying to win. I don't know if they're a good developmental spot for Cam Whitmore.
It's funny because the Rockets are a team that's like, we have a bunch of wings. We have a bunch of guys that play your position, but we don't really have anyone that does your skill set.
Yeah.
But just how we want to play, whatever, we just don't feel like we can carry you on the roster if we're not going to use you, or again, there's 4 wings ahead of you in the rotation, or 0. Some say 0.
Tell it to John Hollinger, yeah.
Yeah. But and then if he goes to the Lakers, it's, well, we have all the scoring down. We really just need someone who's 6'6" and can physically play defense.
Yeah, the Lakers are looking for a wing. I don't know if Cam Whitmore fits exactly what they want. They may still be in the market for one. Andrew Wiggins is someone they apparently want. It's just that the asking price currently is more than they are willing to give. I think at last look, Andrew Wiggins would go to the Lakers in a trade, but the Heat are not only asking for Dalton Connect, they don't think, I guess, much of Rui, maybe, because they're also asking for a first-round pick. And Lakers, at the moment, are saying, that's too rich for us. We don't really have a lot of first-round picks to dole out, and giving one up for Andrew Wiggins, along with dealing our recent first-round pick and Dalton Connect, feels like too much of an ask.
Yeah.
But that's why negotiations happen.
The Lakers are in a situation where it's like, we really need more players that can play for us. The Lakers famously had, game 4 of the Minnesota series, where they didn't make a sub the entire second half. All 5 guys that started the third quarter played the entire second half. And that's just what you do when you only have 5 guys that you trust. And one of those guys was Rui Hachimura. So we can't, and I think one of them was Dorian Finney-Smith. That was Finney-Smith, Hachimura, and then Reeves, LeBron, Luka. If I'm the Lakers, I'm like, I don't think we can keep trading away guys or losing guys and only get one person back in return. Yeah. Like, I don't think we can play, or we can get rid of Rui and then get Wiggins back without adding some other person, because we lost Finney-Smith.
Well,
I guess LaRavia.
They did add LaRavia, and if they need another wing, the money, I think, works if you add Haywood Highsmith, who's another wing defender who shot pretty well from three. I think around 40% catch and shoot guys. So
if I'm the Lakers, I'm more worried about the defense than I am.
Well, Haywood is a defender.
So. I would we always talk about 3-and-D wings, and normally like a guy's more of a defensive wing that can shoot, that's like he can be passable shooting, or he's a shooter who can be passable on defense. I would lean defense for the Lakers, given their three best players. I guess LeBron's still pretty good at defense
when he has the energy to try.
But Luka and Reeves, it's almost not just that they're bad at defense or they're attackable at defense. It's that everyone knows that they're attackable. It's like part of the game plan is just like, we'll just go after him every single time.
Yeah, it's a feature of what the other team's doing now.
Or like sometimes
not falling back to that.
Yeah, you can put a bad defender out there and like teams just won't mercilessly attack them. Luka and Reeves, they just get mercilessly attacked.
The reputation is such that why wouldn't we run our offense just attacking these two? So Highsmith and Wiggins would fit the profile of defensive wings that the Lakers are desperate for. We'll see if they become another contender, which at this point most people don't think they are. And then you have the LeBron thing hanging over their head.